Hey BookTube, today we're going to talk about a book that I recently finished, and that was The Dream Hotel by Laila Lalami. This is a book that I was a bit nervous about reading because it has such mixed reviews on it. Some people really loved it or they really hated it. I didn't see too many that were in between, but I'm going to tell you my thoughts on this book. With so much talk about AI, we've been seeing a lot of stories pop up, a lot of novels pop up that discuss AI. And of course, there are pros and cons with using this. I use this AI every day in my job. I know a lot of people in the industry as well that I work in use AI every day and are trying to figure out how to better implement these tools, as well as make them secure. And it's not to replace people, it's just to make our jobs more efficient, make us better at our jobs so that we can really focus on the things that matter. I enjoyed this, but I don't think that I'm going to be reading any more AI-centered novels anytime soon because I feel like a lot of them probably will be the same. If you're not familiar with The Dream Hotel, it follows Sarah, and she is coming back from a work trip from London to LAX. When she lands at LAX, she is retained, they call it retained instead of detained, due to a high risk score. Now, in the story, anyone that has over a 500 risk score, they are determined to be at risk of committing criminal acts. Now, they don't even have to commit the act; they just have to have a high risk score, and that the risk can increase based on things like arguing with neighbors, being seen arguing in public, in their seen on cameras. If someone reports them and there's a police report made, if they are related to someone who's a criminal, if they associate with someone who's a criminal or someone who's done something 5, 10, 20 years ago, that can increase their risk score. If it's family that you haven't talked to in years and they have committed an act of criminal act several years ago, that can also increase your risk score. Now, there are certain things in the book that the character has given access to. There's one in particular that is attached to her dreams. Now, she has consented to use this device, right? It's something we all do. It's something that can happen to all of us. We can consent to this company storing our data and not think twice about it because we want to use the product. So this is what's happened to Sarah. So she's consented to using this device, and of course they are tracking her data. Now, in the book, they have a government entity. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like risk assessment reduction or something like that. So anyways, they have this department in the government, and they are tasked with reducing risk. And that is using specific factors to predict whether someone will create a criminal act or not. They don't have to do anything at all that's criminally related or have any type of criminal history. They just have to have certain factors that are combined that the government sees and deems as a risk. So Sarah, she is retained in this facility with several other people, and they tell her, I believe it was like 21 days of when they were going of how long she would be at this facility for them to monitor her and to see if her risk level reduces. A lot of people don't know when they're going to be released because they can do minor things, and that will increase their risk and also increase their time. If one of the agents at the facility says that they broke a rule, which these rules are sometimes randomly made up, then they can add additional time to their sentence, which is really not a sentence. They don't want to call it a prison, but that's actually what it's like. They want to call it a retention center too, where the person is just being monitored to see if their risk can be reduced. Now, I felt that there were a lot of things in this novel that can actually happen just based on how freely our data is given, how lax the government is with our privacy, how lax these companies are with our data, and especially in the United States where you could pretty much do anything with anyone's data, sell it, steal it. You probably pretty much get a slap on the wrist, depending on who the company is, how much you've stolen, what you've done with the data. But yeah, so the rules especially in the US, are not that great when it comes to protecting our privacy. The EU, they have a little bit better rules, but still it's just a major problem worldwide. The things that happen in this story are things that could actually happen. I could see these happening and see how it could happen. I felt that Laila Lalami really had some great ideas that were partially executed well. I feel like she could have explored them more. It seems like she had so many great ideas that she didn't really know how to tie it all up in the end in a nice little knot. She explored them and then it just kind of like fell off. There were a lot of unanswered questions. There were things that could have been explored further when it comes to data and privacy, as well as what happened to some of the other characters in the story, which is really unfortunate because I feel like this book could have been a lot better and probably would end up on a lot more shelves if she'd done a little bit more for the story. I think it could have probably been up there with 1984. I still would recommend reading this book because I did enjoy it. It just didn't end how I expected it to end. Well, it did actually end how I expected it to. Just the way that we got there is not what I expected. I expected a bit more. Now, if you're looking for something that is action-packed, that's full of detail, that's going to really give you a satisfying ending, this is not the book for you. But if you just want something slow, dystopian-like, that is something that could realistically happen in the future, and you're okay with not quite being satisfied with the ending, then I definitely recommend reading this book. Again, this book was The Dream Hotel by Laila Lalami. Let me know in the comments if you read this book or if you're considering reading it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon.